What's going on, YouTube Gen X? Where should I start? Okay, my brother sends me this article. Um, are black men afraid of successful black women? Got it from The Root, theroot.com. I'll put the link up. Now, I don't have a problem with the article, other than this has been a reality for a very long time. This is what annoys me. Like I said before, you'll have black men who are saying this is what it is. Black women will pass that over and act like they got no input from black men, only to arrive at a similar conclusion as if they did it on their own. It's very dumb how that plays out, and that just feeds into the whole idea of this sort of dysfunctional relationship with black men, where pride gets in the way. The fact remains that black women don't want to hear the real game or get any sort of insight from black men. It gets passed off as black woman bashing or whatever. But yet, let a black woman make the same claim or arrive at the same conclusion, then we're all about it. I said the same shit about Chanel Cooper. Chanel Cooper hasn't said nothing that brothers haven't been saying. But yet, when she said it, you have black women that are like, oh yeah, you're right, maybe this, maybe that. When brothers said it, and mind you, brothers like myself who said stuff in a respectful manner, it still gets passed off as black male bashing because it's coming from black men. So at the end of the day, the truth of the matter is, the answers that black women are seeking have been there for the longest time. And the part that annoys me is that we're getting to the point where it's almost too late. There's no point in arriving at a conclusion when you can't do shit with it. There's a critical period in which you have to come to certain understandings. But if you pass that period, it's almost pointless to come to that conclusion or to come to that realization. Flat out. So that's what kind of annoys me. The direct avoidance of what brothers have to say. Because like I said before, once black women start to actually talk to the black men they say they don't exist or they don't want, there's the fear. The fear because now they're going to be held to a certain standard, whether they like it or not. Like I said, that's fine for black women to have whatever standard that they want. But just understand that when you meet that quote-unquote dude that meets your standards, he's going to have his own standards. And when it comes to that, then you see the sort of, the tail goes straight between the legs. Now, with the whole concept of being afraid of a successful black woman or whatever, first of all, as Willie Pete said, ugly girl argument. Where you have women that weren't being checked for before, right? Maybe because of colorism or whatever, or just flat out maybe because she just wasn't that attractive. Maybe physically, mentally, for whatever reason, she was unappealing to black men. Well before she got successful. She becomes successful and she attributes her being single to her being successful. Because it's easier to deal with. Oh, it's because I have my MBA. Or you get the sort of, you're just too old. It is what it is. Vanessa Williams at 37, not saying she's older than that, but if I'm running into a chick who's fly and attractive, right, her age isn't going anywhere. So for a lot of your successful women, you're just too old. You can hide behind success, but you're too old. I can't have kids with you. That's unappealing to me. It's not about you being successful, it's an age thing. If you have your brother who's, kind of did what he had to do, put in the time and effort to build his career to where it needs to be, and he's ready to have kids, and let's say he's 32, 33, a chick who's his age isn't as appealing. He would prefer a chick who's 26, 27. So it has nothing to do with success. It has more so to do with your age. Or you get the sort of relationship awkward. The awkward black girl. Like I said before, you got your chicks who went off to college, never really dated, never really interacted with men, so they don't know what the fuck to do. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know how to dance in terms of how to do the whole, hey, man approaches girl, how does girl flirt, how does girl show she's interested. You have a lot of black women that don't know how to do that. For whatever reason. I don't want to get into the reason. Well, I have my reasons, but I don't want to spend time getting into it. But you do have a lot of your socially awkward black women who may be professional. It has nothing to do with the fact that you're successful and you're making money. You're just socially awkward, which translates into the whole dating realm. Just awkward. Don't know how the whole courtship process works. So that could be a reason as well. And that's the dumb part about it. There's so many chicks that I know personally who fall under that socially awkward, educated, successful black woman. But it has really nothing to do with success. You're just socially awkward. So you have all that going on, which has nothing to do with the fact that you're educated and you're making money. Now, let's get into more so the article with the whole concept of your younger successful black women. The younger ones. As far as having a dating hardship, understand this. Your younger black men, right, the men that you may want who may be just as professional and just as successful, or they're headed on the same track, have been raised a certain way. That two-parent home, where they've been raised to, hey, one day work hard and you have your own family. That is what they've been raised to do. That's the blueprint that they're following. Work hard, build, get yourself together, have a family, have kids. That is their format. And the sad part about it is, right, I hope brothers really hop on, because we're going to die out. It is what it is for every successful brother out there. And I really do mean this. We have to have at least 3 kids, so that they can grow up and take our knowledge and our teachings and pass that on to the next generation. It is what it is. So part of it is brothers going off, networking, building, putting shit together. But brothers got to make sure they got kids. So if I'm fucking with Jerome over there, who has a good setup, Jerome, where your kids at? Because you know how it is. We got to have our kids. We got to raise them right so that when they grow up and it's time for dating, right, and marriage, they have each other. That is a big part of the equation. Yes, it's about black people being economically viable, being educated, having certain careers. That is a major component. But that does not take away from the fact that we need to have kids. The black women who get it, the black men who get it, need to have fucking kids. It makes no sense for the Indian man or the white man or the Asian man to be just as successful and more successful just in terms of accomplishments and degrees or whatever, and they got kids. So the Asian man shows up with all his success and his, 3 sons and 2 daughters. Same thing with the Indian man. But black folks show up, yeah, I got a good job, nice condo, got a little Range Rover, but no fucking kid. You're not passing anything on. Like, that concept shouldn't be fucking hard for folks who quote-unquote get it. So if I'm looking for a woman to choose, to date, and to marry, and she's not in a position where she's mentally ready to be in a position where she can give me those 3 kids, it's not going to work. And it can't happen. I grew up with nothing but professional black women who were able to be professional and have kids. So yes, did they tone down their career for certain periods? Maybe, but when the kids got old enough, they picked it back up. Or when kids went off to high school or college, they picked it back up. But those women understood, I got to have some kids. So when I look at your younger, successful Michelle Obamas in training, I don't see that sort of, okay, here's my plan, but within that plan, I got to make sure that I'm in a position where I can have 2 to 3 kids. Because yes, it's a part of me and my husband building wealth and doing this and doing that, but we got to pass that shit on. So that our kids have kids that they can date and marry eventually. So it's very simple. So for your younger or, mid-20s successful black women that are being passed over, Like I said before, you're either getting passed over, because of the other things I said before, that other men have said before about the ugly girl argument, or the too old argument, or the socially awkward sort of black girl. But a lot of y'all are also being passed up because you haven't thought about the whole concept of trying to have those kids. So you think you're changing the game up by being successful and educated, and you are, but you're not totally there. You're not passing anything on. So it makes no sense for the Indian girl or the Asian girl to have the same sort of career and educational drive, but yet they still understand the whole concept of having kids so that they can pass on their wealth. That is part of the equation. But for your black women, your younger professionals, that's not there. So for your brothers, it's not going to work. Like I said before, I'm not fucking with you if you don't have a career and you don't have a certain type of education. And most of the brothers that I know, personally or through other people, which is pretty fucking deep, are all on the same page. I can't think of one brother that, out of all the brothers I know, that's fucking with a chick who's not educated, who doesn't have a career. So the wanting and the desire, that's there. But if you're not trying to have kids and you don't have that planned, why am I going to be with you? It's very selfish. I just want a strong man there to support me. What about the fucking future? What about the next generation? I got 3 siblings. We each need to have 3 kids. So that would be 12. Who have a certain value, who have certain direction, who are going to go off into the world, build and do what they need to do. They need to have kids. So if our kids have 3 kids as well, right, that's what? 12 from me, 12 from my brothers, for my one brother, 24 from my 2 sisters. That's 48 grandchildren. And in terms of my kids and nieces and nephews, that's another 12. So now we're looking at 60. Within my lifetime, there's 60 black children, right, who get it. Some schools barely have that in terms of colleges, in terms of black students. So just think about that. That's where we have to think. Go off and build. Go off and be successful. Go off and get those degrees. I'm all about that. But if there's no sort of understanding that within this whole process, we got to have some kids, I'm not going to choose you. And I'm not going to date down, let me go find a chick who's not as accomplished, right, just because I want to have black kids. I can't find an educated black woman who understands the whole concept of having kids, so let me go off and get, Keisha from the streets, who doesn't have a career, who doesn't have much going on. That's not going to work because certain black women want that. So for brothers, it's one of those, well, I'm going to go off anyways because I'm going to have some kids. So if I can't do it with the black woman, fuck it then. I go find the white chick who's with it, or the Asian chick who's with it. And it is what it is. And I guarantee you, they would understand the whole concept of trying to have some kids, understanding about the whole concept of passing shit on, because they're coming from homes where that's also been kind of the mode of operation. So in a nutshell, read the article. I ain't saying that the article is just way off, but it's just annoying and frustrating. Because this shit should have been understood a long fucking time ago. But once again, you have the whole black men are saying it, so we can't listen to it. I don't get it. It's almost as if your brothers that get it need to go off and hire black women and say, hey, listen, you guys need to spread what we're trying to say, because they're not going to listen to us simply because we're black. We ain't calling nobody a bitch, and we're not coming at anybody foul. Y'all know my channel personally. I've never come at anybody foul, but yet you'll still get labeled X, Y, and Z. So it's sad, because like I said before, I know I'm going long, but like I said before, there are critical periods where you have brothers that are like, fuck it, I'm moving on. You're not going to get those men back. You don't have all the time in the world to figure it out. I mean, it's hard to put an actual time frame, but for me, I want to say we have about 10 years to kind of figure it out. And after that, it's a fucking wrap for black people, or at least in America. It's a wrap. Because we're not going to be producing black men who get it. The black men that need to have black kids, especially black sons, are not going to be around. So all you're going to have is hood black chicks. You're still going to have your professional black chicks, but you're going to have a whole bunch of black men who weren't raised by successful, well-to-do black men. You know, they're the products of unproductive, trash-ass niggas. That's what the black community is going to be fucking left with. Because the black men that you want can only come from black men. Lions can only come from lions. It is what it is. So if the men we talk about wanting, especially for the future, especially for the daughters and the grandchildren, they got to come from the black men who get it. But if they can't have kids, it's a wrap. Simple. And like I said, it's not about, well, let me find any old black woman to have kids with just because. Fuck all that. If brothers can't go off, find the chick who gets it, find the chick who's about something, who has a career, who's moving in a certain direction, but who's also family-oriented. They'd rather not have kids at all. Or go off and have that sort of biracial family. That is what it is. And a lot of brothers are fully aware of the impact that will have on the future of the black community. But brothers will be damned if they're going to have children with an unproductive black woman, or a black woman that really isn't quality. Or a black woman who's not trying to be the best person she can be and moving in a certain direction, because once again, our daughters are going to copy and imitate you. And I can't stress this point enough. Brothers want to see, brothers want to be with a chick, in part, who is that kind of mold that they want their daughter to be. So I want to be able to look at my wife and value her for a whole bunch of different reasons. And one of the more important ones is because I would want younger black women to be like her. I know she's not perfect, but I would want her to rub off on black girls. And it is what it is. So if we can't say that about you, we ain't going to have kids with you just because we got to keep it black. So I know I said a lot, but man, you know, you just get so tired of the bullshit. That's my video. Y'all take it easy. God bless.